Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellen and I am the creator behind Sew and Inspire. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of my formerly named knitting podcast, although the term knitting podcast just isn't really resonating with me, and I think I'm going to call it my knitting journal instead. It just makes a lot more sense to me and just feels more right. So yeah, welcome back to another episode of my knitting journal, where I sit down and chat through what I've been working on over the past few weeks. I have been putting off filming because I just have felt like I haven't had much to talk about. And let me tell you, I think we're going to be here for a while. I have a lot to say, a lot to catch you up on new projects, old projects. So grab a drink, grab something to work on, and let's just get on with the video. So starting off with finished objects, I only have two, which isn't very many, and I feel like it kind of goes like this, where I have loads of whips and then loads of finished objects. So we only have two finished objects today, but the first one was a mammoth one. If you watched my last knitting podcast, you would have seen I was working on the Art Nouveau sweater by Eleanor Mortensen for Tara at Irish Artisan Yarns. It was a sample knit for her, and this, every time I look at it, I just think, how did I make that? How did I make that? Like, I knit that. Like, it blows my mind. I'm so proud of it. Tara was really happy with it as well. I did manage to get it done on time so she could take it to Yarndale, and I think she wore it one of the days, which was just so nice to see. Overall, this project took me just over 2 months to finish because it is a finger weight colourwork sweater, so it definitely wasn't a quick one. But just so worth it. The yoke is absolutely beautiful. The yarn that I used, the main colour was Studio IAY Cashmere Merino 4-ply in the colourway Malachite, and then the yarn that she gave me for the colourwork was her Superwash Merino Bamboo and Silk base in the colourway Narin, which is just this beautiful variegated like blue, teals, blues, purples, and it goes so well with the malachite. And this project made me absolutely fall in love with her Studio IAY Merino, Cashmere Merino. It is so soft, so bouncy, so lovely to knit with. Like, I urge you to go and try it. It's beautiful. I think I mentioned in the last podcast, the yoke alone took me a month to work on, just because it required a lot of concentration. I've never done a colourwork yoke that complex before, so it was definitely a challenge for me. And I did say to Tara, I haven't done that much colourwork, so I'm not sure how amazing I am at it, but she trusted me, and it all kind of worked out in the end. So yeah, she was happy with it, I'm super proud of it, and it was a very satisfying one to finish, let me tell you, because it was on the needles for just over 2 months. My second finished object I do have here with me, and it is a Musselburgh hat. I have been wanting to make the Musselburgh hat for absolutely years. I've just loved the idea of it, the concept, the construction, just so intrigued by it. So I finally got around to making one, and this is for my dad. I knit this for him for his birthday. I bought the yarn to knit this for him nearly 3 years ago, and it has been sat in my stash just waiting to be a Musselburgh hat, and I finally did it. So this is the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. I'm sure it needs no introduction. I'm sure you are aware of this pattern, and if not, get to know, because it is perfect for single skeins. And if you love stockinetting around you will love this. The yarn that I used was Sannes Garn Sunday in the colourway 5882, which is just this really lovely deep navy blue. My dad basically wears navy blue or black or grey so I just thought the navy would go with everything for him. And yeah, so if you haven't come across the Musselburgh hat before, it is basically knit in a big long tube like this. You cast on, do the increases, knit for ages, and then do the decreases, and then it gets folded inside itself. It's a little bit finicky, but it's fine. You get there in the end. And then you can either wear it like this as more of like a slouch hat, or I prefer to fold up the brim and have that 4 layers of fabric over your ears, which just keeps you all nice and toasty. I am absolutely dying to make one of these for myself. I have a sort of special skein that I think would be perfect as a Musselburgh hat. It has a bit of cashmere in it as well, so yeah, I think it would be perfect. But yeah, I think the only difference thing I would do if I was to knit another one is to knit the stockinette between the increases and decreases a bit longer, because the brim isn't very big. I mean, like, I think I have quite a big head because this fits my dad and it's like the perfect size for me. I think I did the adult medium. I don't look great in hats, do I? Let's take this off. But yeah, I just wish that the brim was a little bit bigger, but my dad really liked it and he was quite surprised, so yeah, that was a lovely little gift that I made for him. The other thing that I will mention is how I cast on. I got this tip from the Crazy Sock Lady. I basically just cast on with a long tail cast on, the number of stitches it says to start with, knit the increases, and then with my tail went back and sort of like closed the hole. I didn't faff around with any like pinhole, cast on thingy, whatever the pattern suggests. I just did that and it worked perfectly fine and was so much quicker and easier. So yeah, if you haven't tried that yet, definitely do for your next Musselburgh. But yeah, super chuffed with this little quick gift. I say quick, it wasn't that quick. It was fingering weight yarn on 3mm needles, so there was a lot of just stockinette in the round, but it was really, really soothing. I was knitting this through a really, really tough week, and it was just the perfect soothing stockinette project. So they are my 2 finished objects since the last episode. I can't believe there's only 2, like, what have I been doing? I just feel like there are so many whips and I just haven't finished anything in such a long time. I am like dying for that dopamine hit, but I think once some of these projects will be off the needles fairly soon. So where should we start? I think I'm going to start with this one, which is in my project bag which I made for myself. This is the Firefly Tote, I think, by Noodlehead Patterns, and I love it so much. It's my favourite project bag I've ever made. I love the shape of it so much, and then it has the drawstring as well. But the project inside is much more exciting. I am knitting the Laura scarf by House of Budlier Designs. Lovely Anna. I have actually test knit this for Anna, but the pattern is now out. I didn't manage to finish before the test knit was finished, but all was required was to use up 1 ball, because once you know how much you can knit with 1 ball, then you know how much yarn you're going to need for the rest of the scarf. So here she is. It's gingham goodness. Look at this. How amazing. When I saw this scarf on her Instagram, I was like, I've fallen in love with it. I am a gingham lover. When I saw it in like being knitted, I was like, okay, I need to do this. So I messaged her and asked if I could be part of the test knit, and she said yes, of course. So yeah, it was a really, really lovely group of people, and I have really enjoyed working on this actually. It has got to the point where I just want it finished though, because as you can see, it's pretty long, but if I like put it on, it's not long enough, unfortunately. So we've still got at least 30 centimeters to go maybe. So obviously we are like well over the halfway point now. We're on the home stretch, but yeah, it's taken a while. It is Aran weight yarn on 5.5mm needles, and it's like super simple colour work. If you haven't done much colour work before, I would actually really recommend this pattern because it's a small circumference, it's Aran weight, and the colour work is so simple. You commit the chart to memory like within a few goes, and it's actually quite soothing colour work because it's so simple. The yarns which I'm using one of the recommended yarns, which is Yarn Smith's Pebble Haze Aran. First time I've ever used this yarn. It is a 61% cotton, 39% acrylic blend, and it's a blown yarn, so 50 grams is 100 meters, which is fairly good for a Aran weight. And then the creamy one is Purity by Wendy Yarns, which I believe is discontinued, but I had the perfect amount of this in my stash, and this is like part of the reason why I sort of signed up for the test knit, because I had half the yarn in stash. All I needed to buy was a contrast colour, and I have a bit of an obsession with burgundy at the moment, so of course I had to go with the burgundy. This is in the colourway Ruby, and I think they go so gorgeously together, and I am so happy with how it has come out in the scarf. I haven't posted about this on Instagram yet, and I am really excited to, because I think the colours are just so autumnal. Get some autumnal goodness into my feed, I think would be a good move, but honestly I've just become a bit scared of Instagram. I have just got completely in my head about what people think of me and what I post, and if you follow me over there you would have noticed I've been very quiet for a very long time. Part of that is because I've been in a very bad mental health space, unfortunately, over the past few months, and I still kind of am, to be honest, but it's mostly the fear, and I think everyone, like a lot of people, have this fear, and it's just one of those silly irrational thoughts that you have in your head that aren't actually real. So I just need to sort of do it and get over myself. But anyway, that was a tangent. That is my Laura scarf. I am very much looking forward to getting that off the needles. My only concern is like how much yarn. Like the cream yarn is the exact same meterage as the Pebble Haze, but I feel like it's running out quicker. I don't really understand why. I do have like a part ball, because this scarf says you only need 3 balls of each colour if they're 100 meters per 50 grams, and I had 3 and a bit, and I'm worried I might need to use that bit, which is going to be a bit annoying, but anyway, we'll see. My next whip is another gift knit for my dad. I very rarely knit for my dad, not because he's not knit worthy, he's just quite fussy, can I say that? But basically he had this navy jumper and my mum felted it and he's never been able to find a replacement, so I'm attempting, keyword here, attempting, to knit him a replacement. So I am knitting him the Zipper Sweater Man Lite, but I'm knitting it off gauge and I've modified the collar. So I'm knitting the size 4, but I think it's more coming out as a size 1 or 2 probably, because my dad doesn't like things like oversized, and that pattern has a lot of positive ease built into it. So I kind of went with what yarn I wanted to use over the pattern. So the yarn that I'm using is Filcolana Panilla in the navy colourway. It's probably, I don't know the actual name, but the navy one. And my mum has a sweater in this yarn and she wears it absolutely all the time. She loves it. So I said, do you think Dad's sweater would be good in this yarn? And she said, yeah, I think it could be. So I know that my gauge on 4mm needles with Filcolana Panilla is 22 stitches in 10 centimeters. So I did a little bit of maths about what body circumference I wanted, and it came out that I needed to knit a size 4 for my gauge and the circumference I wanted. So that is what I'm doing. And then the other modification I made was I did a stockinette collar instead of a ribbed one, just because my dad will mostly be wearing this open, and I think a stockinette one will just lay a lot nicer and flatter. Whereas I have made the original zipper sweater and I've also made the light for a friend, and I found that the ribbed collars like really do stand up, and I just feel like doing it in stockinette will just make it lie so much nicer when it's worn open, which is what he will wear it as most of the time. So yeah, I have split for sleeves and I am working away on the body. I've done about 10 centimeters maybe, so not loads because there is a fair ways to go as it is a man's sweater, but we're getting there. I'm trying to just do a few rows on it every day, keep it going over. I did originally buy the yarn and cast this on to knit it for him for his birthday last year, but that did not quite happen. There's actually a line, I'm pretty sure it will block out. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but there's a line here where the stitches were resting for a year. So I'm pretty sure it will block out, but it's like so obvious. Can you see that? Yeah. Anyway, that is my zipper sweater light. And it's basically just simple stockinette in the round from here on out. So yeah, lots of just chill TV knitting, which is quite nice. I like having a range of things on the needles, as you can probably gather. Okay, next we have a fun new cast on for me. I have cast on the Traveller hoodie by Andrea Mowry. Yay! I'm so excited. I have had my eye on this pattern for quite a while now. Basically ever since Natalie from Knitty Natty made it. She wears hers all the time and just looks so cozy and comfy and a great throw on piece, and I just really wanted one. So I finally cast one on for myself and I am very excited about it. It is knit from the bottom up, so it will go this way up, but it's really hard to hold up from this way because I have split for sleeves. And I know what you may be thinking, because I'm thinking it too. Is that really all of the body? And yes, according to the pattern, it is. It is a cropped sweater, and I do want it cropped. I do not want it full length, but I don't know if the length in the pattern is a bit too cropped. I'm not sure. But if worst comes to worst, I can just chop off the pick up stitches above the ribbing, knit more, and then graft the ribbing back on. So we've got a plan B, it's all good, but I'm really hoping it doesn't come to that, because it will be a bit of a pain. But yeah, I've literally just started doing the front panel back and forth. I really enjoy knitting this stitch pattern. It is basically just rows of knits and rows of pearls, and it creates this really lovely fabric, but it is gonna grow a lot when it is blocked, so I am like trusting the process here, and hopefully it will block out to a great length and I won't need to go back and adjust. The yarn that I'm using for this is Drops Baby Merino in the light grey colour, because this pattern calls for a sport weight and there aren't that many sport weight yarns in the UK. Like, they're not very easy to come by. So I decided to try this out because I was like, it has baby in the name, and if it has baby in the name and it's soft enough for a baby, it will hopefully be soft enough for me. And it is extremely soft. I don't think I'll have any issues with this being itchy, which is exactly what I want, because I just want this to be an everyday throw on jumper that I can wear all the time. So hopefully that's also why I've gone for a grey, because it'll just go with everything. I think that's a really lovely grey as far as greys go. I did have a bit of a mishap with this guy. So there are these slipped stitches at the underarms, and somehow when I was placing my markers for the slip stitches, I managed to put the markers 2 stitches out on the other side. So I was like, right, do I rip out the entire body that I've done and re-knit it, or do I try and ladder down? And I decided to try and ladder down instead. So that is what I've done, and this is what it's looking like. As you can see, these stitches here are a little bit loose, but my hope is that it will block out, and it's under the arm anyways, so you're not really going to be seeing it. So yeah, that was my little mishap with this one, but I'm super happy with it so far. I'm praying the length is right. I'm trying to work on one thing for me as like a pleasure project, and then one gift knit at the moment, each day. So right now my priority is getting that scarf off the needles, but then as soon as that's done, I can get back to this, and I'm so excited for that. So yeah, that's my traveller hoodie. It's not looking like much right now, but hopefully next time we chat we will have made some good progress. And I am so intrigued how this hood is created. I cannot wait. My next whip is another gift. So Mum, if you're watching, please turn off now. You have been warned. This is hopefully going to be knit in complete secret and be a gift for my mum for Christmas, but we will see about that. Here is what I have so far. This is the Take Your Time Slipover by Kadri. And I am, oh, we've dropped a stitch. Back on there, I really should have needle stoppers on the end of my needles. This is the Take Your Time Slipover by Kadri. It is a V-neck slipover. I was basically on the hunt for a V-neck slipover pattern, which was a 17 stitch gauge, and this fit the bill perfectly. So yeah, I have done the yoke and I'm now just working away in the round on the body. I've done about that much, so not loads. But there's a little bit of a backstory to this. I got my mum this yarn for Christmas 3 years ago. And I said I was going to knit it into something, like a jumper for her. I have tried to knit this into a jumper for her twice. And both times I've just like dramatically run out of yarn. Like for her size, you cannot, in my experience, get a jumper out of 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. You just can't do it. So I was like, okay, we were talking about it because she obviously knows about it, but and I was like, what about a slip over? Well, she actually suggested, what about a slip over? And I was like, you know what, I think that's a good idea. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm still like petrified that there's not going to be enough yarn. I'm knitting the size 2XL. Just pray for me, guys. Because if there's not, I will cry, because I'm not knitting this into something else. But look how good it's looking. So the yarn, I should probably tell you that I'm using, the beautiful hand-dyed yarn is from Adventures in Yarncraft, who sadly are not dyeing yarn anymore. This is the Wild Berry colourway, I believe. And oh, isn't it stunning? It's purples and pinks and lilacs. It's my mum in a skein of yarn. And then to go with that, I'm holding it with Drops Kid Silk in the lavender colour. I'm not sure, but it's the light purple. And together they're just creating like the lightest, fluffiest fabric. It's just glorious, and I am really loving knitting on this. Just having a bit of colour on my needles is just very, very nice. So yeah, I'm going to get to the end of my first skein, and then I'm going to go in and do the neckline and the armholes, and then whatever I have left is going into the body, and I'm going to hope and pray and cross my fingers that there's enough to make it a decent length, because my mum does not like crop things. So yeah, and I'm thinking, it isn't in the pattern, but I'm thinking I might do a split hem. I'm kind of feeling that. But we will see. I have this much. It is like, as I said, I did start other things with this, so I have this much left of the first skein, and then we'll be on to the second one. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying this project. It is going by so quick because it's 5.5mm needles, so yeah, it's I think it's going to be quite a quick one. Okay, what next? My final kind of active whip is this one, and it's a little bit of crochet, which I don't do crochet very often, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy dabbling in it every now and then. So I am making a granny wrap. This is the granny wrap by Anna Boo's House, I believe. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's so easy to commit to memory. If you've knit a granny square, if you've crocheted a granny square, you can 100% do this. And yeah, it's just super mindless now. And the yarn that I'm using is Serdar Jewel Spun in this gorgeous reds and maroons and purples, yellows. It is autumn in a yarn. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I love it. And this is going to be for someone very special for Christmas. I'm using a 5.5mm hook because I think that is the hook size recommended on the ball band of this yarn. And I am really enjoying how the fabric that is creating. It's not too stiff. My only thing is, like, how warm is this really going to be? Because there's loads of holes in it. And I wonder that about granny stripe blankets as well. Like, I really want to make a granny stripe blanket, but is it actually that warm because there's just loads of holes in it? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. but I'm really enjoying this one nonetheless. And it's nice to do something a little bit different sometimes in the evenings when I've been knitting for all the rest of the day. So yeah, very quick one, but that's my granny wrap. Okay, and then the final whip, which I just wanted to touch on, was my mum's Knitty Committee Tee by Lily Kate Makes, or Lily Kate France. We are sort of knitting this together. I'm doing sort of all the hard bits and she's doing all the easy bits. So I have knit the yoke, and then my mum has knit the body, and then also she's knit the collar, and then I will pick up and do the sleeves whenever I feel like it, because she's not in need of a cotton tee anytime soon. So there's no rush for this, but I just wanted to share that my mum has finished the body. She just went for the simple 2x2 rib, which I think looks really lovely. I will get back to this probably when spring is a bit closer. The only other thing to mention project wise is socks. I have not worked on socks recently. Probably because I haven't been going out anywhere, because my anxiety's been so bad, and I usually work on socks when I'm in the car and at knit nights and things like that. So yeah, but I'm desperate for my finished socks that I'm knitting for myself, so hopefully in the next episode I will either have a finished pair or I will have picked them back up again. So that is everything for the projects. I am now going to talk about a few acquisitions which I've made over the past few weeks. There's not loads, but there was Unravel, which I didn't manage to attend, but my mum went and she went with a shopping list. So yeah, I have a few bits from there, and then there was also a few things that my mum picked up at a charity shop for me, and a couple of other bits. So if you're not here for that, thank you so much for joining me, and if you are, let's start with what my mum got for me at Unravel. So I have been following Wellington Yarn Club on Instagram for a while now, and I have been desperate for a set of her minis. It's basically a monthly subscription box, and I didn't think we had anything like this in the UK. And then I came across Wellington Yarn Club and I got very excited. So basically a different dyer dyes up 10 10-gram minis for her each month. So this month, I'm not sure which month this was, but it was West Green Loft Yarns, who I've followed on Instagram for ages, and I've been dying to try some of her yarns. So that is why my mum went for this one for me. But yeah, I'll show you some of the minis. So there's like gorgeous pinks, there's a green, just gorgeous like autumnal colours there. And they all have names on them, which is just so cute. And then this one's the final one. Just a really lovely oatmeal-y grey. So yeah, I got these because I am dying to start a sweet shop blanket. I have so many 10-gram minis, so many minis in general, and they are just waiting for me to start a sweet shop blanket. So we may or may not have cast one of them on by the next time I speak to you as well, because I mean, I've wanted to cast one on since it came out, which was like 2-3 years ago. And I've started one twice, but not had the right base yarn. So yeah, I'm very excited, but they are going to go. Probably not all of them, because some of them aren't high contrast enough, but definitely some of these will be going into my sweet shop blanket. And then the other thing that my mum got from Unravel was from Oxford Biocolours. I had heard Sophie from the Knit Pearl Girl talk about Oxford Biocolours, and I was so intrigued by them, and I literally put on my mum's list, Oxford Biocolours Feel Softness, because I think I love what everything like behind the brand. It says, developed in our Oxfordshire laboratory, this yarn has been dyed with our world first plant-based dyeing technology. So it's a commercial yarn, but it's botanically dyed. This is the colour Lavender Particles, and it is this gorgeous, well, lavender, as you may expect. And then my mum also got the River Beanie pattern, which is the pattern that Sophie had designed for their yarn, and this is their 100% British wool DK weight. I think that's all they have at the moment. And it is woolly, but it is, I couldn't wear it, but my mum definitely could. It's like, oh, it's woolly and soft. It's gorgeous. I wish I could tolerate this and have a whole sweater in it, because it's so nice. But yeah, my mum is like a very beginner knitter, and is very coached by me along the way with her projects. But this is going to be her next project, I think, which is really exciting. It's a gorgeous little cabled beanie, which is really cool. The only other thing my mum got for me at Unravel was just some more Eucalan wool wash, because I'm running low. And then I just wanted to share with you a charity shop find which my mum found for me. She found Rowan wool cotton 4-ply in this lovely beige colour. It's like a sandy beige. It's really, really lovely. And it looks like, she found it in this bag, and this whole bag was £3. And it looks like it's been frogged from something. I don't know. But that's what it kind of looks like to me. But there is 2 full balls intact. And this is a 4-ply, so there is 180 metres. And I think this will be a really lovely little summer top or something. So yeah, well chuffed with that for £3. She did also get me some cones, but I'm not going to share them because I shared some cones a few podcasts ago, and it's just acrylic cones, so it's not very exciting. But what is exciting is my payment yarn from Tara for making the Art Nouveau sweater for her. I got to choose some more yarn, so I picked, of course, the Studio IAY Cashmere Merino 4-ply. This is in the colourway Rosewood, and it is this gorgeous dusky pink. It's just stunning. I actually got enough of this to make my mum a sweater, because I already had a sweater's quantity of this for myself as payment from the ranunculus which I knit for her. So I decided this time I'd get a sweater quantity for my mum so that she can experience this as well, because I think everyone in life needs a sweater out of this yarn. So yeah, very excited to cast this on. I'm not sure when I will, but I'm very excited to when I do. And the last acquisition-y thing which I really wanted to share was this gorgeous knitting journal from Meepy the Label. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but she does the most gorgeous projects. Like, it's so aesthetic, her designs are gorgeous. Yeah, definitely, I will link her down below. But she just came out with the Maker's Journal, and I have been on the hunt for a knitting journal because a few years ago I got the Bullet Journal for Knitters by Middlestrick, is that how you pronounce it? And I loved this, and then the next year I missed out on the pre-order, and then the year after that she didn't do it in English, but I have got it coming next year, but I need one for this year. So when I saw she came out with this, I was like, that is perfect. It's basically just full of pages set out like this. So you have all the information that you need and then a blank page on the other side, which I really like. And yeah, I couldn't recommend it more. It did come from the Netherlands, but shipping wasn't crazy expensive. And it's just, of course, I went for pink, but I think it's also in blue. But yeah, I love it. Okay, I think that is everything for this knitting journal. That is what I've been up to in knitting and crochet wise over the past few weeks. I hope to see you again sooner with some more progress on my projects and hopefully maybe a new cast on or two. We'll never know. But until I see you all again, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because that would mean the absolute world to me. And I will see you again very soon for a brand new video. Bye!